Hello and good evening, everyone. Um, Almost Happy New Year. It's very good to be back after a long time that I was away from doing live sessions or videos in general. And it's simply because I'm following my soul journey in life, and I can speak on my behalf only. You have to really surrender to the events that are happening in your life. You have to let life take you wherever it needs to take you. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be in peace with that. And you have to have unconditional love for the process. And first of all, I'm going to start by saying welcome, everybody. Those who decided to watch it live, and those who are going to tune in later for this video. Um, I'm going to answer some questions that some of you had. And the purpose of this session is not really to teach, but more to discuss and speak and share insights and hopefully resonate. The way we share light with others is not through really teaching them what's right and wrong, because we all have different journeys and we all have different roles in this life. And the main thing is to be able to resonate with something and hold on to it. So I have some questions that people ask, and I'm going to just share my perspective on those things. And I'm planning to do it every Sunday. And somebody mentioned earlier that it's a great way to start the new year by just having, a once a week session thing. People can ask those questions live, people can join the broadcast, people can do whatever they want. And we're all going to come from a place of love. And it's not, anything pre planned or staged or anything like that. The main thing is to share spiritual wisdom, to share our experience. A lot of people have their own beautiful stories of how they face miracles in their life. And that's all we need to resonate, to have somebody give us the little push for us to reconnect with who we really are. We are all special. We are all knowledgeable. We are all beautiful beings of light. There's nobody better than us. There's nobody worse than us. And I'm going to give you another tip because my wife referred me to this. I guess I don't really watch TV, but I got to sit down and watch this show that they have on Netflix right now. But this, I don't know if it was a cult or something spiritual that ended up being very greedy and criminal and whatnot. And unfortunately, I'll tell you, even a community of people that choose spirituality is going to have some people who really don't do it from the right intentions, or they don't come from the right place. And it's very important that you don't get yourself mixed up with something that it's not genuine. And I trust you to trust your soul and your intuition to tell you where you feel comfortable, what community you feel comfortable to talk about spirituality. And the first thing you need to know that spirituality cannot be mixed with business. It's not a money thing. Okay, it's the complete antithesis to money and materialism and business and appointment. And if you pay me this amount, I'll tell you something about your future. And if you pay me that amount, I'll tell you more about your future. And all these, like, making it something from something very spiritual and secretive and fascinating and amazing. It's becoming like a product, like merchandise. And spirituality is not for sale. Your unconditional love, your light is never for sale. It's let's put it this way. You know in your heart where you belong where your journey is, what you're trying to reach, what questions do you have, and this is why I'm doing this session today. So I'm going to start by presenting these questions on the screen. But before I do that, I have to tell you something that happened to me, and and this is how I share light with you guys. So earlier this morning, and for those of you who don't know, I am disabled. I have disability that was caused to me after failed surgeries, back surgeries. So it's very hard for me to stand straight or to walk or to bend is out of the question. So it's very hard for me to walk a lot without having a lot of pain. It's almost impossible. But my wife needed me to go with her somewhere to pick up her daughter from a different town. So I decided to go with her because it's always fun to do things together and to get out. And but prior to that, I know that I felt like I was forced to go. I felt like, something's stopping me from going. Like something is just blocking me from doing it. Like, and I don't know why. I couldn't understand why. So I decided to fight that urge. And there's another thing in life. Sometimes your intuition will play like a reverse psychology on you, and things that you really need to be doing, you feel like you shouldn't be doing them. Do you know what I mean? So in life, it's not all black and white. It's really, really important to connect to your inner self, connect to your soul so you can make the best decisions because everything can be deceiving. So I decided to go with my wife despite everything. And we go to the train station and everything goes smooth. I'm walking slow, I'm trying to get some exercise. And all of a sudden, while we're sitting in the bench waiting for her daughter to arrive to the train station, and across from us, there's another bench, and this gentleman was sitting there, and everything was normal. And the train station is very busy. There's a lot of people walking. And I'm looking at him, and all of a sudden, that gentleman rolled his eyes. He was holding his chest, and he just fell like face first right on the pavement, on the concrete, on the floor. I was trying to save him. So with my disability, I saw that, and it seems like nobody else were even like looking at what happening. And I told my wife to look, and I run towards him. And I'm last minute, like I'm trying to grab him after he fell already. So I'm lifting him up, and he's starting gargling, could like breathing. I'm helping him. I know how to do CPR, so I'm doing what I need to do. My wife's lifting his legs up, and here I am just really struggling myself, and I'm calling people. There were police officers there, and nobody would even come and help for some reason. It's almost like it was just me, my wife, and him in the world, even though we were surrounded by people. And finally, some people came, and he woke up, and he had this big, huge knot on his head, like it was bleeding and whatnot, but he was okay. He was going back to himself, and everybody was happy that he gained his consciousness back. And I remember that I offered him water and asked if he's okay, and he said that he's got, I don't know if he's epileptic, but he faints often, but nothing like that. And apparently got a heart attack as well in the process, and it's just, and I ended up like risking myself. So I got myself hurt today helping these gentlemen. But what I'm trying to say is that like I knew that something was stopping me from doing something I was supposed to do on my soul journey today, if you know what I mean. Because this is what's beautiful in life. When you just sit back and listen, when you sit back and let life happen to you, before you think that you can influence your life and your world and you own this and you own that and you that tough, and no, you have to listen and let life come to you and react to everything that's coming. And I hope that by answering some questions that I'm going to go and start, you'll also be able to resonate with some of the stuff. So I'm going to start with the first question by Maria. And you guys can read, she's saying, nobody acknowledged me for Christmas, and I brought a lot of my friends and family things. This was the first year I haven't received anything for Christmas in my life. It's making me sinful. And what should I do? Not even a Merry Christmas or anything from anybody. So angry. Excuse me while I'm reading, and of course, you guys can go ahead and read as well. This is why it's here in front of you. Okay. Okay. All right. So, Maria, I read your question. And first of all, I'm sorry that that situation hurts you. But I'm going to tell you something that I really hope that you take into heart. You know, you started your question with nobody acknowledged me for Christmas, and I brought a lot of my friends and family things. So it's about right now, the first sentence is about how you do or you did for people, and you don't feel like you got anything back in return. And from what I understand here, not even acknowledgement or anything like that, or Merry Christmas. And I'm going back to the basic of what I tell a lot of people when I speak to them one on one. It's an individual journey. We can never, or should never, must I say, take into heart other people's actions and choices because these were not ours. Therefore, our soul should not be affected by it. And I know a lot of you will say, hey, it's very easy said because people do get hurt, especially when we trust someone or love someone, or I don't know, people get hurt. That's true. Um, but when I'm talking about these type of situations like Maria had here, these are more of really trials to the soul because the way our soul is being tested is only through these type of situations. It's through our soul's Achilles heel, through through where we're most vulnerable. It will attack us there. And I don't even like the word attack us. It will test us there. And here's a situation, Maria, when you are following your soul journey, you're following the decisions that you decided to make, which obviously showing kindness and love and giving. So you are passing your test. And by feeling that nobody cares for you or you don't get the same treatment back, you see it as a punishment and you shouldn't because people choose their actions, they choose how to move on with their journey, they make decisions on their own, and that's part of free choice. Just as we cannot take credit over other people's good deeds because it's theirs. We cannot feel guilty or feel responsible or feel ashamed or feel guilty over other people's actions. So I know it's nice to be acknowledged. I know it's nice to be loved. And the people who usually get hurt the most from feeling like they're giving their everything and they don't get back in return are usually very beautiful, high in consciousness souls that all they know is love. They surround themselves with love, and they just feel bad for that other soul. So it's not like you feel bad for yourself. If you think about it metaphysically, deep inside, your soul feels bad for that other soul that doesn't know how to quote unquote repay the favor or to appreciate you. Now, from what you're saying here, I know you know how to help and make difference in people's life, like you said, and this is your spiritual journey. But at the same time, these people's reactions, that your family and friends who don't recognize you, this is your test. It's not. It's either you're gonna get upset about it or feel like giving up or shutting down, like you said, from everyone, or you're going to come from a place of love and understand that when you do something, you do it unconditionally, meaning the kindness that you showed them should not depend on whether they do something back in return or not. Do you know? So the first thing to do is to come to this whole situation from a place of love, and know that you've done your part, whether they acknowledge it or not, whether they say thank you or not, whether they give you something back in return or not. That's none of your problems. I mean, that's none of your business. You shouldn't worry about that. You should only, not even worry, but you should only concentrate and focus and highlight your beautiful actions and not how people reacted. The ball is in their court now. It's now their decision to make. You've done your part, and you should feel proud of yourself. Regardless, I can be kind. I can smile at somebody in the street. If they don't smile back at me, I'm not going to judge them or hate them or worry about that. I'm going to say, hey, or some people, I help them. They don't say thank you. Some people, and that's all I try to do. Both me and my wife, we're just trying to, like, you have people who are storm chasers. We're like trying to be good deed chasers. Anywhere we can find a way to help with the little bit we have, we try to do it, because this is our soul path. This is what we're supposed to do. And sometimes people don't say thank you. And sometimes even people, when they say thank you, it's kind of forced. And sometimes people in your life will not going to react the way you expected them to react. So what I tell people, don't expect anything in return, and you'll never be disappointed if you don't get it. Once you don't expect anything in return, because true giving is not a conditional giving. You don't give with a but to it, but you have to appreciate me in return, or you have to tell me, wish me Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, all these things. It's not about that. You do your part. You mind your journey. You mind your trials. Your trial was whether you're going to be kind and do things and buy presents. Yes or no? You did it. But you can't mix it up with all these negativity of how people reacted to it. That's what people do. When you live according to how other people act or think or behave, you lose your journey somewhere in between all that mess. And that's how people get lost. And when people feel like they're lost, their souls are literally lost, because you are lost between journeys. You worry about this man and that woman and that family member, and that worry about you and that coworker and that boss. Worry about yourself. Worry about your life, and everything else will work itself around you and around your schedule. And even if it doesn't, it won't bother you as much, because you are focused on your journey. Okay? Don't have any distractions. So, and again, last, Maria, I'm going to have to tell you, do not feel like giving up and shutting yourself off from everybody due to anger. Anger is one of the, if not, it competes with fear of who's the number one block to the soul. Fear or anger, two emotions. Okay, they're not feelings, they're emotions. Two emotions that are very, very, very hard to control, very hard to prevent once they happen. And it's almost like we don't know ourselves. Something takes over us. When people get angry, they're like, I don't even know. I didn't even know myself. I don't even know how I acted like that. Or, oh, I feel so embarrassed. It's almost like something's taken over us, right? Same thing when we are afraid. When we are afraid, we just shut down. Like our light is dim. Like we don't project any strength to the outside. And these are very, very tough blocks. These, when you get all over the fear block, you're not afraid of death, because, there is no such thing as death. You're not afraid of any, like, you just live your life reacting to what's coming. You're not afraid. You're not worried. Your energies, instead of spending them worried and trying to manifest question marks in your life, you manifest good things in your life, decisions. You're productive. So it's really, really, don't be angry. You shouldn't be angry. Why would you be angry? You just describe how beautiful of a soul you are. And then you described how some people don't appreciate it. So they don't appreciate it. But if you take it to heart, then they were successful. They broke you. They broke your spirit. They broke your faith. They got you scared. They got you angry. And you shouldn't be. You should highlight the good things you do. Not don't highlight other people's actions. It doesn't mean anything to you. So continue to do good and be good. And trust me, it's an all of us problem type thing. You know, we all feel like we're too good sometimes for this world, but we shouldn't feel that way. We shouldn't be spiritually arrogant or spiritually, we should lift everybody from the ground up to our level in any way we can. We're humans, we're souls, and only here souls can be evil. Only here souls can make very bad choices. Only here souls can be lost. Only here souls can rebel. But it doesn't mean they're not souls. It doesn't mean we don't have the potential to make a change in their lives, because we all eventually deep inside crave good for ourselves. Even bad people, even criminals, even I don't know, they think that what they do is going to benefit them. So they also think that they're going to bring good, even though their good is not really the right choice or the right good. But we all as souls want to crave for good, because we were created. One of the ingredients of the soul is goodness, is just, that's what creates the bliss. So what I'm trying to say to you, don't be angry, highlight the beautiful things you do. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Heather, I am 47 years old and I have felt like I have a huge calling to coach and help people. I have been for 8 years, but I feel like it just never gets going, my business. I'm wondering how you know when you should stop and choose a different path. Okay, it's a good question. Let me try to answer you, Heather. First of all, it's good that you know that you have a calling to coach and help people. It's amazing. That's usually the default job that a light worker will have, is to use any platform. And back in the day when the internet wasn't around, people who were spiritual would just gather other people and just have a huge circle around the fire and just talk spirituality, or do it in temples and just areas in the open. And it's amazing. But now with technology, we can speak to people from all over. So the fact that you know that that's your calling shows and indicates your soul contract. Now, and here is where you need to go with the soul contract 100%, not only when it's comfortable. You're saying that you've been doing it for 8 years, but you feel like it just never gets going. Now, I'm wondering how you know when you should stop and choose different path. So first of all, I'm going to start with the last question. You know. And if you don't know yet, it's not the time. And here's the thing about, you feel like the business never gets going. You also have to understand that accepting your soul contract is knowing that once you do everything you can in your power and things are completely out of your power and they don't happen, or they happen too fast, or happen too late, it's part of your soul contract. Your job is not to act, but your job is to react, is to understand, is to embrace the divine timing. In your soul contract, it might have said that you're supposed to have a business that's going to struggle, or to be slow, or to take forever to move to the next level, because this is your test. This is how you're tested. This is how you're shaping up your spiritual powers, if you would. And people have to understand that. You have to trust the divine timing for everything. You have to. You can help the divine timing speed up a little bit, or come in a smoother way, or manifest it to come now rather than in a year from now. But for that, you first need to know that there is such thing as divine timing. You have to know that whatever was provided for you in your life, this is what you should go to battle with. and not always wonder why you're not making it to the next level, or you want more and more and more and more and more. If you feel like you're worth more, you have to look at it. What do you see as a business? Do you see like money wise, or do you see client wise? Sometimes, people can help. Sometimes I help myself 40 people a month, one on one. Sometimes I help one. And trust me, both months I feel just as spiritually fulfilled and happy and blissful and appreciate, because you really, whatever is in your path, or whatever life brings your way, you should really come from a place of love and accept it. So the first step to breaking through that the glass ceiling that you're talking about with your business, is to know and to accept that this is what you have right now, and you're happy with that. You're content with that. You love it unconditionally. And whatever's supposed to happen to it will happen to it. So once you have acceptance, now you build a foundation to manifest the next level. And I think it's beautiful that you have a calling. And again, this is what you should highlight, the fact that this is your calling. And usually, like I said, in spirituality, to coach and help people see the spiritual side of it and less the business side of it. And know that whoever you help, sometimes maybe, that should be somebody that this is what you do because you're supposed to interact with just that one person or that one soul. So it's really important to listen to all the signs in your life and around your business, and try to understand it from a place of love, not from I'm stuck, but hey, I'm regrouping, I'm recollecting, I'm learning, I'm changing, I'm transforming to the next level. So a wait period or feeling stuck is not necessarily a bad thing. And it's very, very important for people to understand. Okay, like when we look at a caterpillar that turns into a cocoon, and that cocoon is just stuck there on the branches, right? On the plants. So that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just wait a little bit and you'll see a beautiful butterfly, a brand new consciousness, right? So this is exactly what I'm trying to say. Stuck, like a baby is not stuck in his mother's womb for 9 months. It's preparing itself for a new level, for a new state of consciousness. The same thing here. So either don't choose a different path yet. If you're asking me with my intuition, what I'm just feel from reading it, I feel like you need to just accept what you have and have some divine patience. And I think that people like you who already felt like they have the calling, they need to wait for the steps, because spiritual calling and spiritual awakening is not an instant thing. Okay, at least not to me. I can speak only on behalf of myself and my experience, but it's a transformation stage where you go through really everything about and on and with your character and with your emotions, and it's almost like you're going through a spiritual boot camp. You're really going to a boot camp spiritually to train for the next level, and just embrace the journey, love the journey. Don't see anything as difficult. Don't see anything as punishment. Don't see anything to be afraid of, and don't see anything evil. Just see all good and come from a place of love. And everybody who is spiritually awakening and transforming, and just like transformation, every transformation has to do with mixing, with merging, with explosions. Even if like in the movies, when something transforming, it's usually a little rocky process, right? So just like that, spiritual transformation as well. It can take you and send you to just different locations, and random people will be in your life, and you name it. But it's part of the game. And again, like always in life, embrace it. Be excited for it. Everything feels and tastes better when you are excited for it. So this is what I tell you, Heather. Dawn's asking, when a loved one passes, what difference is there in the natural deep grief state and emotionally holding back the soul from crossing over? If someone is not realizing they're holding that person to them and they can't cross, What is apart from natural grieving that is the difference with unintentionally holding their past loved one to the earth planet with them? A family member is doing this without being aware that they are, and I can't figure out the details, the emotions that make that difference. Okay, now that's a deep question, Dawn. And I'm going to tell you that with a very, very, very simple answer and not a long one. Because what you're describing, and again, in life, in the spiritual world, there are endless possibilities. There's no limitation of what can be done. When people describe things in the metaphysical world, from spirit to angels to demons to miracles to things that are just metaphysical, to things that cross boundaries of time and space and capacity, meaning the spiritual world is like an endless ocean of levels of consciousness, of beings, of powers, of energies, of light. But at the same time, when a person passes, when a person's body is deceased, okay, and the soul comes out of that body, nobody on earth can hold on to that soul and preventing it from crossing over, but that soul itself. See, some people, because in their lifetime they weren't able to connect to their soul enough, because what do we gain here? A lot of people ask me, what do we gain from living here? Okay, so we're living here, we're being tested, we our body dies, then our soul goes back full circle. But what do we gain here from all these tests? And what I tell people is that when we go back full circle, when we pass from this world, we don't go to a specific place called heaven. Or there is no such thing as just the afterlife as a place with an address. We go through a whole journey that is like a dream state, that is spiritual. And in that journey that seems endless, but yet it's very vivid, and we cross many, many portals and levels of consciousness to get to a final destination, which is the divine light, which is our source. And the more spiritual things and the more spiritual consciousness we have in this world, right now, as we are speaking, the more tools, the more vision, the more eyes, the more wisdom you will have as a soul crossing over to higher levels of consciousness. And the more disconnected you'll be from your soul while you're living in this world, the more you care about the ego and the money and the cars and the food and the pleasure and all these things, and you don't even know you have a soul. Then when you pass, all the physical wisdom and the physical emotions that you acquired will just disappear, and you will remain with nothing spiritual you acquire. So you will just go like a blind person in whatever you manifest or whatever your journey is after you pass. Some people, it's a huge flower field, or some people it's darkness. Some people fly over their bodies. Some people see Jesus, and everybody according to their journey. And no journey is wrong or right. That's what's beautiful about it. It's their journey. Just like our dreams are our dreams. So we cannot be held by those who are alive, even if we think that. However, some souls can decide to stay because they don't want to take that journey. And this doesn't happen often, but when it happens, this is where we have cases of hauntings. And those things are real. I've witnessed them. Part of the stuff that I used to do before just being the soul guides is people use my clairvoyant abilities to go to clear houses in the United States. And I'm telling you, those things are real. And these are not ghosts or demons like you see in the movies. These are souls. These are souls who could not be laid to rest in peace. And they lost the direction. They were stuck between this world and in the afterlife, and they're stuck here as souls. They're decided to not leave this earth because they feel comfortable. They feel like it wasn't their time to pass. So they hold on to everything physical that they acquire or people. So instead of the person who's alive, Don, was holding on to the person who passed away, I think it was the other way around. Okay? Because physical us cannot hold on to something spiritual. We're limited. We're still alive in this physical body. But somebody who is in a soul form can do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. So I need to know more details about how the family member is doing it. You can always message me on the on the chat, and I'll be able to maybe personally give you some more insights. But all I'm telling you is that a soul can decide to stay here. It can be because of a person. It can be because they feel like they haven't lived enough to fulfill what they needed. And it can be simply because they had nothing but anger and fear and rage and jealousy and all these negative things. And wow, when we go, when we pass, when we haven't healed from these wounds, they really just become, it becomes really unpleasant or blinding or difficult to see. And vice versa, the more you are spiritual, the more you do good things, the more you are unconditionally loving everything about your life. Everything. The comfortable, the less comfortable, the confusing, the clear things. I mean, everything in your life you have to accept and be appreciative of, and have no jealousy, no ill feelings towards others, all these beautiful things. When you pass, you are being escorted to the afterlife with angels. That's how important you are. That's how much you can see. That's how much you understand. So it's really important to remember those things. And again, I'm speaking based on my experience, but I'm pretty sure these things are universal. We're all souls. Okay, Ellen, could you please explain certain dreams for me? Some are so real, I feel like I'm still returning to my body for a while after waking up. You just answered it yourself, Ellen. There are no such thing as dreams. I don't explain me what a dream is. Even on the physical level, if you go and research, the best doctors in the world could not scientifically prove dreams. Say it's something with the brain, the body's doing magic. Because even if you can prove that the brain's doing it, then tell me why dreams are different. Why sometimes we dream, sometimes we don't. Why sometimes we remember the dreams, sometimes we don't. Why some dreams are random and some dreams are about what we thought about all day or what we did all day. So a lot of people can talk about dreams, and a lot of people don't talk about dreams because dreams are very, very hard to explain to others. But guess what? You shouldn't explain anything to others. Dreams are your virtual email inbox. Okay? They're your spiritual inbox for messages. Your soul, our souls, leave the body to spiritually recharge, to connect to their higher selves, to kind of take some time off from this game, to deliver prayers, to do amazing things spiritually while the body is completely sedated. We sleep, we dream. Our body is just alive. But at the same time, our soul is going out to seek knowledge, to get messages, to relay messages. And once you know it about your dreams, you can manifest your dreams. So when you feel like you're coming back to your body, it's because you're actually coming back to your body. You're coming back to your body. Your soul is coming right back to your body. And you're feeling what's happening. A lot of people sometimes have dreams, and I'm one of them. I admit these are some of my favorite dreams, but at the same time, the scariest dreams. or used to be, is those dreams when we free fall. And if you remember or have those dreams sometimes when you feel like you're free falling from a very, very high place, and you feel like your heart is dropping down, just like when you're riding a roller coaster, and you feel like your heart drops, and all of a sudden when you land, the second that your feet touch the ground, you wake up. Why is that? Why the dream's timing is in perfect sync with the fall? Is because that fall indicates your soul coming with its full awareness, full consciousness, 100% soul, right back to your body, and your body wakes up, and you have your consciousness. So pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are messages. Some of them are more real than others because in some of them, you just really are involved. Like your soul is aware that it's what it's doing. People that just see them as dreams, they're people who are confused, who don't know, oh no, it's a message. Is it me? Is it my mind? Is it my soul? I don't understand it. I need somebody to tell me what my dream means. No, you don't need to know what your dream means. You need to know that your soul was able to exit out and interact. And that is enough for you. I'm going to move on to Kim. I think I'm good with timing. Kim says, tell us about the 5 exit points we apparently have in life, please. What constitutes an exit point? And if you nearly died 4 times, does that mean you definitely will on the next occasion? Do we leave once? Sorry, I can't read it because of my eyes and vision. Do we leave once we have learned or experienced what we came here to do? If so, does that mean that people who leave long time still haven't learned what they were meant to do? Okay, so Kim, I'm going to answer like this about the exit points. Okay, these are concepts that people have, but it all goes around the same concept of reincarnation, and you have to understand something. All of you have to understand something. We only are introduced or following or almost enslaved to the rules of time or to such thing that's called time when we are in this physical body. Because we're in physical body, and since the moment we are born, we follow time, routines, we grow up. Time becomes part of our lives. All we know to structure our lives is with time. Our thoughts usually goes about either our past or our future or present. Everything we do, if we plan something that's involving the future, not a lot of people live the moment, the present moment. And unfortunately, that's one of the blocks, is that you're not present with yourself. You're always constantly worried about what you can control. But going back to your question, so only here in this body we have time. As souls, we are not only everywhere, because there's also no place or capacity or limits, but we're always, meaning we are in all times. When we are referring to our soul as past life or all these things, is because that's the only thing that we can explain in human terms about our souls experiencing other lives or other consciousness. But at the same time as we're living right now in this physical body, our soul outside of our physical body, meaning outside of this realm, outside of this universe, is living many, many other consciousness. Many other lives, many other missions, many other tasks our soul is doing at the same time as we are living here. when we say to ourselves that we need to connect with our higher selves, what do we mean by that? Connecting with our higher selves is what? Is there anything above us? Is there anything outside of us? Is there anything in the ceiling that is part of us? No. It simply means that there is a higher version of us that lives outside of this matrix, outside of this universe, and we can connect to it because it knows things that we don't. It's not limited, we are. It doesn't know fear, we do. It doesn't know anger, we do. So we have to always like exchange good energies. And at the same time, when you connect or you have deja vu, so it's like you're connecting to your quote unquote past life. No, you're just connecting to another part of yourself that lives in another consciousness, that exists in another consciousness, but you don't know how to explain it because you're living the moment, you call it past. I hope I didn't confuse you, but what I'm trying to say is that if you nearly died 4 times, does it mean you definitely will on the next occasion? The exit points, again, everybody has got a different journey. It's not like a textbook thing, you know what I mean? I never like to attach spirituality with some set rules of, because everybody's got a different soul contract. For some it can be 4 exit points, for some it can be 1. Some don't even need an exit point to really know their meaning or purpose or all these things. So I think the main things is to really know that we have a different journey. But once you recognize the journey itself, that there is such thing, and it's solely spiritual, and it's what you really meant to do here. And trust me, when people are asked, what are you meant to do here? It's not a certain job. It's not a certain to buy a certain house or a certain car or to be recognized, to be popular. What you're supposed to do here is like, how do you share light? How do you acquire spiritual consciousness, spiritual knowledge? For that, you'll have to experience something that's going to wake that spiritual, sense in you. And most of the times it's life-changing events, and these are events that will shock your foundations, but we don't always need to have that. We can wake up on our own. But again, Kim, with all these ideas and concepts of exit points and all that stuff, I'd like to not really make an opinion about that, because I am a big, firm believer of the personal journey that people have. I don't think that people experience things together in groups. Some similarities are to people who go through near-death experiences, because obviously they're experiencing the transformation from physical to spiritual. So it will be something that they can have in common. But most people's stories are completely different because they do experience a different thing. So, but again, if you want more, any of you who want more, want me to go in, more in depth with those things, because I'm short in time, you can always private message me, and I'll be more than happy to try my best to help you. That's what I do. Don't feel bad. That's what I do. This is what brings a smile to my face. Is really to help people. That's my purpose. So never feel bad at all. AJ, my friend AJ is asking, what is the most common problem or request people have made to you when they ask for one of your consultation? Is there a recurrent issue that concerns them? Wow, great question. Thank you for asking that, AJ. I'll start from the end if you don't mind. The reoccurring issue is that a lot of people are at the beginning of their spiritual transformation. They feel it. They can hear it ringing in their ear. They feel like, okay, life has led them there and this is what they need to do, but then they feel stuck. They feel like no matter what they do, it's not happening, or they're really facing big decisions, And most of the time, not most, all the time, really all the time, I'm glad to say that I was able to make them, I was able to put a spiritual mirror in front of them, because that's all I do. I never discipline people about spirituality. I never teach people how to know their own soul better, because it's impossible. I am a soul guide. I put a spiritual mirror in front of them and I let them see their beautiful soul. And when they see their beautiful soul through my insights, they smile. They love themselves. They love what they see. And then all of a sudden are filled with insight themselves. They are filled with wisdom, a wisdom that we all possess inside of us as souls. We just need to let it out. So that's the most common concern, which really turns into hope afterwards. But initially when I first started doing these sessions with people, I was doing it for people who suffered grief and losses in their family, or just recent losses, and they feel like they need somebody who's going to not just be a psychiatrist or a psychologist who's going to tell them to accept the death or the loss in the family, but they need somebody who's going to give them hope and to almost give them a guarantee that death is not the end. And they like to speak to me because of my personal experience. And most of the time, I resonate with these beautiful souls because these are souls who are supposed to meet me. And like I said, I don't call myself ever a business. I don't call myself somebody who's I'm from everyone. I'm for everyone, and everyone can just is supposed to speak to me. That's not true. I'm here to share insights for whoever wants to resonate or can resonate, and that just will make my day. But I'm mostly here for those who're supposed to meet me on my journey as part of my soul contract. And when these people meet me, we share light. Sometimes it's even telepathically without even saying anything. And we share insights, and I try to just get the solution to their problems to come from them as they resonate and listen, and as I try to awaken their inner light within them. And that's all I do. And so far, I can say, I don't want to say I've changed people's lives, because they've changed mine just as much, but I've shared a lot of light, and I will continue to do so as much as I can, and in all fields, and this is what I do. So these people are wonderful, and I'm so grateful. And it's been almost 1,000 people now, almost 1,000 people. So yeah, this was almost perfectly timed to be 55 minutes to an hour. I want to thank you for your questions, and I want to do it every Sunday. So if you really have a spiritual question, and by the way, AJ, I wanted to tell you. So I started with people that have losses, and I helped them, but then I had some some emails that really wanted me involved in things that um, I felt like it's my calling, but just not yet. And even people who wanted help with demonic possessions, with exorcism, which this is not my field. I I kindly rejected that. But I've had all sort of people with problems that really just needed help. I like to help people dealing with mental disabilities or mental issues, and I know it's issues of the soul, and I try to give them that soul perspective and soul touch, and it always helps. And people dealing with a lot with different things, and these are beautiful souls who didn't really need me to begin with to overcome. But like I said, I'm just a guide. I'm really just give people a small little push. It's like a little boat from paper, paper boat, but you just give a little flick, and they just go on their own down the stream. So that's what I do spiritually with people, and I love it. I myself dealing with trials that are massive, especially physical health trials, massive, and then life-changing trials. But they're beautiful. They're massive. They're not scary, even though I don't know what the future brings. Um, They're not overwhelming, even though to old me they probably would be. But it's part of life. It's all one big test. It's all a beautiful ride. You can decide to either be frustrated throughout the ride, or you can roll down the window and enjoy it. And I think that to sum things up, the spiritual awakening, the main part of it is to enjoy it. So I want to thank you. I want to read a couple of comments here, and we'll wish you a very, very happy new year. A year of light, a year of prosperity, a year of new beginnings, a year of love, a year of just getting rid of anything negative in your life, and learn to appreciate the smallest things that you have, and make them the biggest things. So, speak to the deceased, loved ones, intent. Janet, that's beautiful. That's beautiful talent and gift you have. It's amazing. Thank you, Rock Warrior 528. Happy New Year's to you as well. Thank you, David. Sometimes it's hard to continue this journey when knowing. Oh, 1 second. The life. You know, it's not supposed to be easy, but we cannot focus on how hard it is, because when you focus on how hard it is and not how much you can overcome it, it's almost like equals to an athlete, or somebody in the Olympics who's just constantly focusing on the challenge and not how they're going to overcome the challenge and win the medal. So yes, it's hard, but you have to look at the reward afterwards. You have to look at how you're going to look at yourself afterwards, how people are going to look at you afterwards. So though it's hard, you have to look past that. There's beautiful valley, past that mountain. So that's how you got to look at life. Just don't think strategy, don't think tactics. Okay, life will present you with many opportunities, with many more opportunities to even correct some bad choices you might make. So life is always going to present you with opportunities. Take it with love. Take it with happiness. So that's all I have to say to you tonight. I would appreciate your good vibes and prayers for my health. And I want to thank you for your support. I wanted you to join my other page that we started on my name. I think some of you already saw that. It's a new page. The reason I'm doing it is because with the Soul Guide, I like to post memes and quotes and stuff, and also do lives. But with my other spiritual page, if people ever need help, I want them to know they could always reach out. Sometimes they don't even know what they want to talk about, but once we talk, everything just flows so perfectly and in harmony and with a lot of light and energies, and the conversation is taking control over us rather than we take control over the conversation. And these are the most beautiful types of conversation. So have a happy new year. Be happy. Always have hope. Always share your light. Until the next time we speak. So have a beautiful day or night wherever you are.